Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Foreign's the fiance. Someone said to me that I haven't been saying it with a lot of vim.
Yeah, you haven't. You actually haven't.
Oh,
I'm like,
God,
sis, is what's going on?
Trouble in paradise.
Trouble in paradise, is it? But no, the fiance. I felt it today. I felt the strength of the fiance today.
Yeah, there's strength in it. No, there's no trouble in paradise, guys. No worries. I'm still engaged.
There we go.
It was just life. I was just tired. Jeez, can a bitch be tired?
Can a bitch rest?
Literally, like, all these niggas in my DMs because they think I'm single. No, I am tired, okay? But my DMs are open to Bill Gates. Like, yeah, the streets are calling and it's Bill Gates.
You know what? Bill Gates could sponsor each and every listener of this podcast and we would all thrive.
No, not just sponsor with like a good $10 million and still have change. And we'd all be sitting pretty.
I saw this tweet, and it was like, me realizing I wasn't born into generational wealth, and it was that.
I saw that.
And I was like, I feel this every day. Like, why was I that egg? That was
so not... wait, what counts as generational wealth? Is it like if your grandparents are lords, or is it just if your grandparents?
No, we're not talking about royalty. I'm just talking about your parents have money, and their parents had money, and their parents also had money, and now as a result, you have money.
Okay.
Sis is contemplating. Sis is like, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, my grandpappy had
I'm fine.
He had some
I can't relate.
He had some land. My daddy got money too. He got money.
For you people that can relate, yeah.
No, I can't lie. I do think, I'm not like by any means. I wouldn't consider myself like whatever, but I think, yeah. My grandparents,
the wealth there.
Yeah. I hope my kids can one day also say
it's generational. They will.
Yeah. And I guess it's also partly leaving stuff to hand over to your kids as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Generational.
Yeah.
It's like, in the Bible, when this person begot this person, begot wealth, begot more wealth.
Yeah.
It be like that.
Yeah. Where the money reside. Where the
money reside. So today we are doing a documentary.
The most.
A Channel 4 documentary. Oh, we are doing the most also, as always, as per. We're doing a Channel 4 documentary called Confessions of a Serial Killer.
Mm-hmm.
And this documentary is about a man called Samuel Little, who I am ashamed to say is black. Okay.
Yeah, not to be mixed up with Kevin Little, who sang "Turn Me On, Turn Me On, Let Me Jam You, Go Caress My Body, You Got Me Feeling Crazy." You're gonna have to sync that up.
The only thing that Kevin Little killed was them vocals, because he did that.
What's that thing? Have you seen that TikTok where like they tell a joke and then the guys start walking funny and saying something?
Yeah, but they hit the thing. They hit something.
Yeah.
No, but they copied that. I don't know if they copied that, but that has been done by like guys in the UK telling like shit jokes. So they will be oh, what's this? Fanta. What's this? Stick. Fantastic. Oh, like they were doing shit jokes.
Don't kill me.
Yeah. Don't leave me. Don't leave me.
Don't leave me. Yeah.
One of them ones. Yeah, similar vibes. It's so stupid. Like, how's it so stupid?
Things just start and then
and that's it. They live forever. I'd never heard of Samuel Little. Had you?
Yes. Had you not?
I know. I'd never heard of him.
Literally, I opened up this documentary and I was like, oh, here this nigga go again. Like, I've listened to like 3 or 4 different documentary podcasts on him.
No, I've never heard of this nigga. Now I can't.
Really?
I can't unknow what I know.
Well, I've told you to be listening to MFM, but you don't want to.
Okay.
I'm sure Crime Junkie did an episode on him.
You know me.
Oh, I think it was their Pates.
Have a love-hate.
And you're not.
Their Pates. Yeah, I don't pay for them. I'm not paying for Crime Junkie. Yeah. So apparently Samuel Little was born in prison. He was a drifter. La 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 la. I don't give a fuck because he is a shit guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Throughout the documentary, we hear like audio clips from a police interview he did from 2018. basically talking about all the murders he committed over a 40-year span. That's a very long time.
Yeah.
That is a career's worth. Like, people don't even work for that long sometimes.
Yeah,
like
I do not plan to be.
Amen. Hallelujah. Right? So our narrator is a guy called Ben Zand. He's exploring the area that Little lived in and things like that. And like, this isn't my favorite type of documentary unless it's a Louis Theroux documentary. It's one of these ones where they're just kind of walking around, talking to people, living their best lives. I prefer, nice talking heads, clean backdrop, sharp, images and that kind of vibe. But, it wasn't
I prefer
Netflix.
these kind of documentaries.
I only prefer them if it's Louis. This guy grew on me as time went by, but at the point that I made this note, I was like, he's not really giving me what he was supposed to give,
Yeah, he's not giving you the jeune or the c'est quoi.
There was no jeune and no c'est quoi.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
No ce soir. No ce soir.
No ce soir.
So
No
we
ce
find
soir.
out we find out that Little was convicted in 2014 for killing 3 women in the Los Angeles area. And so Ben, at this point in the documentary, is going to meet with the daughter of one of the victims that Little was convicted of killing. And sis is grown, like she's a big woman now, and she looks just like her mum. Did you clock that?
Just like her mama,
She looks just like her mama. It was like, wow, it's mad. And so she's recounting...
But I'm happy. I love that for her mum. Because yesterday, my mum was talking about breastfeeding, and recently, I don't know if it's because I'm in the arena of like marriage and kids, I've started actually having to tap out when people start talking about like kids and stuff, because if I hear all this stuff I just won't have them. And she was talking about breastfeeding. She was talking about how like when the baby latches onto the breast, they can't latch onto the nipple, that it's so painful. They have to latch onto like the wider areola. And she was showing us this method of how to like remove the baby's mouth if they latch onto your nipple. And then she was talking about how like the milk in your breast can expire, and like how hers expired when she was pregnant for me. And she kept trying to feed me. Well, not pregnant, when she'd given birth, she kept trying to feed me. And I would like spit it out and cry. And then she was in so much pain because your boobs are literally engorged. And then she had to go to the hospital. When she went to hospital, they literally just had to squeeze these things, and her boobs like rock. Fam, it's just like, no.
Oh
so after
God.
all of that, the least this baby can do is fucking look like me.
And you know what?
Like, you need to take my Negro nose with Michael Jackson nostrils.
Do you know what else these babies can fucking do? There's this trend on TikTok now where the mum is on one side, dad is on one side. They both hold the baby's hand and they both run in opposite directions.
Oh, God.
And so it's basically to see which way the baby goes. And I saw this one where they do it 3 times at least. And they swap sides as well, because obviously, you know, you have to, maybe the baby favors one side. And so this bad vibes baby.
Bad vibes.
Runs after the father every single time. I said, I'm sorry, who housed you for 9 months before your birth?
Oh, no.
Who did that?
Oh, no.
If that was my child, I'm giving it away. I'm not going to lie. Like,
I'm giving it away.
So you want to kill me then, essentially, is what you're saying.
Literally, what are you going to tell them at my funeral after you've killed me?
It was, childbirth. I'm sorry, I could do a whole episode on the cons that I've heard.
Yeah, yeah, and I could do 1/3 of an episode on the pros.
Babes.
But alas, here we are.
Wild. But, she looked like her mum, which I think is great. Jean's strong. She's recounting the day that she found out about her mum being killed.
I was pregnant and I was asleep, and a bang, 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 bang on the front door. And it was my neighbor telling me to get up, put on something, it's about your mother. I had to identify, she okay, but she's not breathing,
And can you just imagine how traumatizing this must be? Like, I'm assuming she was quite young at the time anyway, but no matter what age that you are, like, for your mum to die is mad, and for your mum to be murdered is madder. Like, I don't know, it's
all crazy in the dunya.
Honestly. And she didn't find out who killed her mum until 25 years later. Like, imagine your mum's been killed and no justice, no peace, like, for 25 years.
Wasn't she also pregnant, like, when she found out?
Yeah, she was pregnant when she found out, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like, too many things going on at once. And it was DNA evidence that helped to put Samuel Little away. And I feel like this has been the case for so many people as, like, time's gone by. Like, thank the Lord for science. Despite what the flat earthers and the anti-vaxxers and them man say, like, science is remarkable. It's so funny. The other day I was listening to our Behind the Curve episode, and I was just like, I cannot believe, like, this is actually what people think.
I know. It's crazy.
This is crazy.
This is crazy. And this is a crazy world in general. There's so much shit out there that, no, it's weird.
Oh, guys, I'm drinking today. You might remember from several episodes ago, the port wine that I was telling you about. Still drinking it. This is how I know that, like...
It's not good.
No, not that it's not good, but, like, it's strong. So I don't have the desire. Like, you know, with Moscato, like, it's like, you want juice? Okay, cool, let me have some Moscato. But with this, it's like, I know I'm going to sleep well tonight. How early do I need to get up tomorrow kind of vibes, you know? It's really good, though.
But you need to get the port that I told you about.
Yeah, what's it called? Did you send it to me?
I don't remember. I sent it to you, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure I started it. I'll go and find it. Yeah, let me finish this one first. How many ports should I...
No, it's taking too long. And then we need to go into the communion wine. Like, sis, hurry up.
Yeah, I found communion wine online, so we're going to get that next.
Catholics, you know what I'm talking about. I would be wanting to gobble up that goblet. Like, please,
gobble the goblet. Gobbity, gobbity, gobbity.
Not the turkey.
Not
take my strong hand.
From Brooklyn Nine-Nine chicken. No, I love you. How are you just in my head like this? Can you pay me rent? Flaming heck. So 4 years after Little's convicted of these 3 murders, my man decides to tell the world, oh, do you know what? You thought it was just 3 people that I killed, but I actually killed around 90 people since the 1970s.
You thought.
Bitch, you thought. So the FBI... they don't take him at his word because obviously niggas be lying, right? So they use evidence and they compare DNA and stuff, and using these methods, they link him to 46 murders, which is mad in and of itself, okay? But then he's also linked to 12 more. And so the narrator starts talking and saying, you know, this puts him on track to be America's most prolific killer. And I'm like, I understand sensationalizing things for like the media and stuff, but like on track to being America's most prolific killer. Like, is this an award? Is it a badge of honor? Like, what? Why are we encouraging this kind of behavior? Do you know what I mean? Like, some Guinness Book of World Records type shit. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And also, how is he getting away with this? How has he killed so many people and he only got caught for 3? So this bit I found really insulting because he starts drawing the women that he's killed, okay?
Those drawings were very disturbing. Am I the only one?
You're not the only one, and we are not the only 2. Because, first of all, it's like, how does he, 1, remember them all, like remember everyone that he's killed, and 2, accurately depict them with these shit drawings that he did? Like, they are
literally.
A part of me feels like he's just drawing women. Like, he's just from his imagination. He's just drawing people.
Yeah, I mean, no, because obviously they go on to say that some people recognize like their missing family members from these pictures.
But they're shit drawings.
But I feel like if that,
they look like year 8 art.
Yeah, but no, they look a bit better. What they actually look like is an abstract drawing of someone.
Okay, yeah,
and not to go back to Rothko and whatever the fuck they were talking about in that episode, because I tapped all the way out. But not to go back to that, but it was kind of like an abstract drawing of the people. Like, I feel like if someone drew a picture of that of me, you would know that was me. Yeah, kind of vibe,
but not as funny.
Yeah, and also like this, the murdering thing for him seems like it's a I don't know, it's a thing for him. I don't know, murderers always say you never forget like people you've murdered.
True. It's true. The way that this is so not relatable, but like with wigs, yeah. She's rolling her eyes. With wigs,
not
yeah. It's funny how not the bang, the bang. Yeah. So you know where you got the hair from. You know what hair it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could not have worn a wig for ages and be like, oh yeah, cool, that's my 24-inch Brazilian. I got that from blah blah blah. Is it just me? I'm like that. I know where I got the hair from.
I don't remember where I got the hair from. I go on AliExpress to check my orders.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like,
I even forget my wigs. I have so many wigs like in a box that I just found the other day, and I was like, oh.
Mad thing.
Yeah.
Well, I remember my wigs. Do you know what I mean? Or even like with my like glasses and stuff, I know what they are, where I got them from, that kind of thing. I just know because I guess I care about them. So I guess with him, his whole vibe is killing women. And so how would he forget one of the 90 wigs? I mean, I don't have 90 wigs. I don't know that I'd remember 90 wigs. But anyway, I guess he cares about the murdering, and therefore he remembers the murderees. So, yeah. So now we hear
in conclusion.
In conclusion.
Okay.
So now we hear some recordings, and he's saying, "What would you do?"
Do you know why I'm laughing? Because I remember when Michael said, "Okay, yeah, okay." Do you remember the episode? I don't remember.
He's like on the phone.
Yeah, he was like, "Okay, yeah."
He's so I watched the episode today where he's leaving and they do the song.
Oh my!
9 million.
No! Wait! Did you see my tweet? Is that why you watched
No,
it?
oh my god, I've muted you because you were talking about Game of Thrones too much. I said, nah, I can't do this.
No,
I have.
Wait, guys, what do you do when like one of your best friends mutes you? This is actually very like, no, this is horrible. How could you do that?
You were talking about Game of Thrones incessantly.
Okay,
I said I can't even enjoy my timeline anymore because I keep seeing
Do you watch-
Targaryen and whatever.
Do you watch
the fuck.
Game of Thrones?
I do not. I told you I watched the first 4 episodes like 5 times and I just never got past there.
Okay, but no.
Have you stopped tweeting about it last so I can unmute you? Because I'm not gonna lie, I did miss you on my timeline, but I couldn't do it to my. It was
I
self-care.
haven't. But today I did tweet. I was like, oh, I'm giving. See, this is why we share one soul. Because literally today I tweeted, I'm giving Michael Scott when he handed in his resignation. I've done deliverance to Charles Minor because, guys, I've handed in my resignation at work. And literally halfway through the day, I was just putting stuff in my like basket on ASOS and watching Game of Thrones in the background. I literally had my laptop on lock.
You're like
I had
what are you gonna do to me now? Fire me?
Literally fire me. All I needed was Scotch and Splendor as Michael had, and then
Oh my god,
I would have been good. But yeah,
yeah, we really are. Well, anyway, let me know when you're done with Game of Thrones so I can unmute you because it was guys, it was too much, and I don't love you any less, but I had to put myself first in this
I'm really
situation.
hurt.
I
really
understand
hurt.
and I accept that, and my heart.
You're
is still
lucky we
open.
share like one spirit, but I'm very hurt.
I'm sorry that I've made you feel this way. Are you gonna apologize for your incessant?
No, absolutely not. What the fuck do you mean?
Please let me know when you finish.
Feisty one you
and
are.
the thing is, I don't. That show, The In-Betweeners is such an amazing. If The In-Betweeners was on Netflix, oh my days, make my life like such an amazing show.
Yeah, that would actually be a good show to rewatch.
I also
Do you
don't
watch?
know
Is it not Shameless? I can't remember the show I'm thinking of. I'll remember and tell you.
I don't know why you are putting so much effort into Game of Thrones when we all know they end shit. Like when I realised when everyone's complaining that it ends really shit, I was like, okay, cool. There's no point starting now because what's the reason?
That's how I felt. And I always used to make fun of people like, oh, you Dungeons and Dragons, and obviously like Dwight with his Dothraki. But then, like, the peer pressure has been immense in this house. Yes,
the show has been over for.
Yeah, I know. My siblings, because they started rewatching it. And my dad also watched. The peer pressure is extremely. There's a lot of peer pressure, and I got to. So you said you got to like the first 4 episodes or whatever. Mm-hmm. I got to whatever episode it was where Ned Stark died, and I stopped watching it.
I got to that episode. Yeah, I got to that episode.
So after the episode, I stopped watching it. I was like, this show is ridiculous, and I didn't even understand the concept of what the hell they're doing. So I'm tapping out. But then my sisters forced me to go past that point this time. And boy, oh boy. I'll never admit that it's a good show because I like to be loud and wrong. Like, I'm happy to be within my wrongness and loudly. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. That red wedding. If you follow me on Twitter, go to my...
I heard about the red
whatever.
wedding.
What's that thing called?
Your
that
banner.
thing behind your profile picture, my banner. That's been my fave since the red wedding. Just imagine everybody you ever felt anything for in a show just dying. And then you say to yourself, this doesn't even make sense because if everybody's dead, what am I even watching? But then there's so much more to watch. So it's just like, I just feel like the writers definitely snort like 2 lines of coke before they start writing.
As do you when you go on your tirades on Twitter about this stupid show. I said, and I allowed it. And then I went on Instagram, and I was looking at your story. I said, and here
and it was
as
all
well.
Game of
I
Thrones.
said, do you know what? I can't mute you on Instagram. I said, I can actually control, just not click on your story. So but now, when I click on her story, it's so tentative. Like, I'm clicking real quick just to see, is it anything new? I'll give it like 24-hour cycle.
Today's is Bill Gates. It's Bill Gates, whatever.
Okay, someone that can help us.
yeah, sorry. But yeah,
anyway,
I didn't know I was muted.
That's the story of why I muted friends. Hopefully this doesn't affect our relationship too much, but if it does, I cannot say I regret my decision.
No, because when I mute people, I really I'm just like, I can't fucking see your shit anymore.
Yeah, okay, so there you go. So you get it.
No, but then, what kind of friend? What fucking kind of friend?
What kind of friend? Yeah.
You just insult me. Even, like, Annette had been messaging me saying, oh, you're basically Internet Explorer because I'm so late to the game, with Game of Thrones.
Not Internet
This is the
Explorer.
energy I need. Not fucking... okay.
Listen, self-care, guys, and if there's anyone in your life that you need to mute them because you have to. You have to. Let me know when you're done so I can unmute you, please. Because I do miss your tweets. I do. They do to make me laugh. They brighten my day. But not those Game of Thrones one. My day was dull. So now here's some recordings, okay?
Because I see what you do if I strangle you.
What would you do if I strangle you? What'd she say?
How much I could do. Yeah, bless the Lord.
And like the police officer seems to be kikiing with what's his name?
Charles.
Right? Okay,
like...
so it's not just me. Okay. Because he's saying, you know, oh yeah, what would you he would say to the women, what would you do if I strangled you, you know? And he's like, oh, ain't much I could do, like mimicking the voice of his victims. And he's like, oh, bless her heart. And the police officer's like laughing with it. And it's like, I understand, like, you know, trying to keep the suspect sweet so you can keep getting information and stuff. But it was really still disgusting to hear. It was like, wait, like, this man has killed multiple women. Like, how do you find it in your heart to laugh at somebody like that when he's discussing? He's not telling jokes about the weather. He literally is discussing how he killed.
Yeah, but it's because it's black women.
And we get into that right now. We get into that right now. So as trash as Samuel Little is, he brings up a good point. And he implies basically that he was able to get away with his crimes for so long because of the victims that he chose. And he says,
I didn't pick on motherfuckers that would be missed. Prostitutes. Yeah. That's the reason why I didn't get busted all the time.
Now, they use the word prostitutes, but obviously it's 2021, so we know better. So we say sex workers. So he picks on sex workers because he knew they wouldn't be missed. And it's really sad because he's right, okay? And then the policeman asks him if he likes white girls or black girls better.
You like white girls or black girls better?
And without missing a beat, this guy says black. Like, do you like white girls or black? Black. That's how it was, yeah.
I like them black.
I like them black. Blackity black.
Literally.
And we've discussed this on this podcast before, that there is privilege in not being black. Obviously, there's privilege in being black when, like, a homeless man is asking people for money and he skips your table. But there is also privilege in not being black. And so white sex workers are, of course, more likely to be targeted than non-sex workers are also white. But in the case of Little, white sex workers were less likely to be targeted than a black sex worker. And so his reasoning is that police are less likely to investigate the disappearance of a sex worker and even less likely to investigate the disappearance of a black sex worker.
True that.
And that's the saddest bit, is that he's actually right. And it's like being able to have that, spin that, and use that to not just commit your crimes, but to get away with them for 40 years is wild. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So real quick, we're just going to talk about jail sentences for rape. Because Samuel Little has been arrested loads of times, mainly for petty crime, and then he'd be released due to, like, insufficient evidence or whatever. So one time he gets convicted of rape and he only serves 3 months. You heard that right. 3 months.
3 months.
3 months. I'm fuming. And you know what I did?
That's 90 days?
90 days. 90 days. I went to look at the sentence for rape here in the UK, right? And maximum sentence, they say, is life imprisonment, but never have I ever heard that
Never have I ever.
And then the offence range is between 4 years and 19 years in custody. And it's like, I understand, you know, rehabilitation and getting people, like, to live a better life or whatever, but I just don't feel like that's enough, because what is it that stops a rapist from raping? Do you get what I mean? Like, you put a rapist in prison, like, for the fact that they raped, they're not then going to be like, I really hated prison, I'm not going to rape again. Do you get what I mean? Like,
that's not what's going to stop them.
That's exactly. So it's like, what is going to stop them? Like, if we deep the fact that rape is more about power than about having sex, you know, quote unquote, then it's like, what's actually going to stop them from least of all 3 months in jail?
Yeah. I don't know if it was 3 months because of the time the time we're looking at the 80s, or if it was just 3 months because, like, they just didn't care. I just don't know. But it was very shocking when I heard that, to be fair.
Yeah.
But
3 months.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
3 months. People have braids for longer than 3 months, man.
You just think to yourself, if they had got him good that time, then we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right. But then the thing is that if they did have
scary
him,
thing,
we wouldn't have known that this is the conversation we would have been having. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, so did these people have to die for you to realise that back then you should have taken it more seriously? Because had you taken it more seriously, these people wouldn't have died. But, yeah, you know, which came first, chicken and the egg type vibes. So now we meet Nana Jamfi, who is a civil rights lawyer based in LA, and she's looking into the Samuel Little case. So the narrator, Ben, is saying that no one really knows about Little or his victims, and is kind of asking why that is. Like, why is this case not bigger? And it goes back to what we discussed before, because Auntie Nana says...
Yeah, because his victims aren't white women. If you are a black woman and you are a sex worker or you are an addict, then you are deserving of any horrible and terrible thing that happens to you.
That is dark, isn't it?
But that's the mentality, right?
And that is a word, because that's really how people think. Like, there's
True
no
that.
grace. There's no grace shown, you know? And it's like, we know that this is the way people think, because you know how when people respond to police brutality with they shouldn't have done X because why wouldn't it happen?
Yeah.
And it's like, no matter how you spin it, the penalty for resisting arrest or not replacing your tail light or having your air freshener up or having an expired registration is not
Should
death.
not be death. Yeah.
It's not death. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
even if you want to say, but they shouldn't have committed this crime. Okay, so then they go to jail alive. They don't die.
That's why we don't have trial by combat. This isn't
Right.
flipping Westeros.
This is, and you know I don't understand it because it's fucking Game of Thrones restaurant. I'm so, you're actually torturing me. Do you know what? This is payback for when, I used to talk to this girl with, what's his name? Bugsy Malone posts. Do you remember?
I'll just block you. You talk about a little mute here and there. I will block you so quickly.
Yeah, but you didn't. I'm over that phase now. But now I feel like maybe this is the karma that I'm receiving. But anyway, we mute. So now we meet. This.
Bitch.
I'm gonna have to beg for forgiveness after this episode. So now we meet a retired homicide detective, Rick Jackson. I know.
I've got a migraine. Can we
I know, and we have to get through it, but we will. We'll quickly breeze through this dickhead.
Okay, cool. Quickly.
And so Rick Jackson, he's investigated Samuel Little, and Ben asks him how could Little kill for so long, and Rick says what we've been saying.
A lot of it comes down to the type of victims that you target. They're out there using drugs, and there's prostitution involved, and there's no immediate person to report them missing.
This makes sense, okay? Because it's a case of no one knows they're missing instantly, because it's not like, you didn't come home. So by the time they're reported missing, it's harder to get information, find witnesses. And I agree with this. This at this point, we're making sense. And so Ben rightfully says, I hear that, but there's a certain type of person that is cared about a little bit less, and that's a bit depressing. And this dickhead says... Can you hear the sirens?
It's going to be worse when you move to South London.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. And this dickhead says...
Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that. I don't think they were cared less about. It's, like, what were you thinking? I mean, it's too bad, but you're putting yourselves in a position of vulnerability here. You gravitate to certain cases that strike you, and those oftentimes don't strike you as heartbreaking because the person, even though they're not deserving to be killed, they put themselves in a position, it's a very risky position.
So he says you gravitate to cases that strike you, but oftentimes those cases don't strike you because the person puts themselves in a very risky position. And this is a wild thing to say.
In this 2021...
As a homicide detective.
Literally, 2021, where COVID is 19, you still don't have the sense and the wherewithal to know that you shouldn't be victim blaming. Even if I walked down this street butt naked, strung off on crack, selling my coochie and my ass,
crack.
Nobody has any right to kill me or to even sexually assault me. So what are you actually talking about?
And it's ridiculous.
And this conversation let me know that NHI, which is no human involvement in the victim cases that they had on the files, was accurate. Like, this lets me know that they really did that shit, guilty as fuck.
Yep.
Like, you guys don't see these people as valued members of society. It's kind of like that thing guys do where they're only nice to girls they think are attractive.
Right.
Like, it's fucked.
Right. And the thing is that, yes, sex work is risky. No one is denying that. But somebody has weighed up the risks and the benefits and decided this is the best thing for them to do.
Yeah.
Right? They're not stupid. They didn't just jump into it. They've thought, okay, this is the best thing for me to do at this time. And regardless of that...
And if you think sex work is so bad and it's so this and people shouldn't be doing it, then fucking look at the reforms you should be making in your country.
There's a reason.
So that people don't feel like they have to turn to it.
This is the last
resort. What was
resort.
the reason? That is the reason.
Thank you. And it's like they should still be cared about, especially by a homicide detective, especially by someone who's sworn to serve and protect or whatever the fuck.
Fam,
and it's like,
this
if
is
niggas
literally
went out
your
here
job.
killing people, if they went out here killing people, would that risk not be decreased? So even like if there were no killers, would you be worried about sex workers being killed? No, you wouldn't. So do your fucking job and catch these killers instead of waiting for these fucking cases to strike you. And may the Lord fucking strike you for this dumb way that you are thinking of things. Like it's
literally
it's like. Does it have to be a child who's abducted and murdered for you to be like, oh, that's really sad, this case strikes me?
No, it has to be a white child.
Of course, a white child, literally. And it's like, he then goes on to say, you know, the victims don't deserve it. But in the same breath, he's like, yeah, well, they put themselves in that position. And the only way that I can think about it is it's like Benson and Stabler being like, oh, well, the victim was wearing a short skirt. So, you know, I'm not really going to investigate this rape because she kind of brought it upon herself.
Funny you said that, because when I was listening to the Confessions tape, I was just like, I wish it was I wish it was Stabler that was interviewing him. He would have had him by the neck up against the wall.
He's so abusive.
With his tight ass.
It's so abusive. Like, he's very violent.
I know, but because he's doing it to
because of the people that he's violenting.
Yeah,
that I don't mind.
I always said, literally, when me and my sister watch it, we were always like, yeah, Stabler was a loose cannon. Like, he had to go. With his tight trousers. Have you seen that?
I've seen that viral tweet that you did. I was like, wait, are these pads or what is going on here?
I couldn't believe it.
It's wild.
He was double cheeked
up on a Tuesday.
Literally. That's what all the Ask God was meant to give me when. Can you imagine?
It's very rich. A white man. Can you imagine? All the privilege. He has all the privilege of the world.
Nah.
that detective is just trash personified. So next, Ben asks about race. And Rick is like, oh, I don't buy that. He's like, oh, you don't think there's institutional racism? And he basically says, oh, he didn't see it. Okay. How would you see it when it's all around you? It's like the air. How would you see it when it's all around you? How would you see it?
How literally?
How would you see it?
Know? How will they know?
Nobody's gonna know.
How can you see what you're living and breathing every day?
How it literally is air. How can you see it?
Sometimes you smell shit and you get used to the shit, so and you don't know that you're in shit
because it's shit that you're in, fam.
And he is the shit, so I guess,
and not in the good way. So they show us a map of America. He killed all over America, all these states, all these places. But then he fucks up and he kills a white woman. Okay. Mindy.
He got me all the way fucked up.
Literally, he didn't know why he chose a white woman when his whole, it was going so well for him beforehand. But he fucks up, he kills a white woman. Mindy was also a sex worker. And it's really sad, actually. I mean, they're all really sad. But it's sad because she was killed 2 weeks after she gave birth. And... yeah, it's really wild. Like, imagine.
Yeah.
And he was like,
he even said she had a belly. Literally, and she was 2 weeks postpartum.
When he first said it, I was like, okay, cool. Sis had a belly, right? Okay. And then we found out, yeah, she just had the baby.
Yeah, that's crazy. And the fact that he even is so, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say the fact that he's so misogynistic, but to do this you have to be anyway. So
you hate women, yeah.
And
I think that's the thing. A lot of men hate women.
Yeah.
And that's got nothing to do with your sexuality.
I could do a whole 3 episodes on how men hate women.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. He actually gets arrested for this crime, and then they let him go because the evidence wouldn't stand up in court, which is like...
I was surprised by that because he was a black man in a deeply southern state that killed a white woman. I thought they would have manufactured that evidence.
Yeah, honestly. And they should have. This is when you should be corrupt, you're not corrupt, dickheads.
Yeah.
So we meet the police officer who let him go. The witnesses, this is another dickhead, but the witnesses were 2 black sex workers, and Ben asks if their testimony wasn't considered because of, who they were. And Ben and this officer have this, interaction, which is interesting, to say the least.
Do you remember Bob Lepre, the brother of Mindy?
He's the one filed a missing persons report on her.
He feels as though if the police had paid more attention here, maybe people like yourself, then Sam wouldn't have got away with it for another 30 years.
Well, do you know that there's people that could say if he hadn't let his sister go in that area, she wouldn't have got hurt in the first place.
And I was like...
What are you talking about? So what the fuck? Is that his property?
And so
Is she a wheelbarrow? Like, what are you fucking talking about?
I literally was like, this is wild on so many levels, because it's like victim blaming, right? And we're even victim blaming the family, and also like,
and then it's
sis
like
has free
ownership
will.
of women.
Right. Sis has free will, right? Like, and the thing is, I was kind of proud of Ben, the narrator, because Ben is just a cute little guy. He's Scouse, do you know what I mean? He's from Liverpool. Like, he's just some any guy. Like, he's not really he doesn't have much of a threatening disposition.
Yeah.
He's just calm vibes, yeah. And I didn't think that he would, like, you know, press or like try and get stick it on him. And he did in his own little way, you know. He kind of like is like, well, you know, she had free will. What do you mean, you know, brother should have whatever. And the police guy is getting proper defensive when Ben says, it kind of sounds like you're saying that she deserved it. And like Ben is staying really calm, and he's able to kind of get his point across. And, you know, he's not being combative or whatever. So I think he does really well on that front.
He does really, really well.
He does, and I think his Scouse accent helps as well, because I think sometimes like the like when people from like up north speak, it just sounds a bit more. It's
a bit soft,
merry and jolly. It's not as harsh, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we kind of get into whether Little is lying about cases, but we hear that he actually denies some. Because the concern is that police departments will just attribute all these cold cases to him and be like, oh yeah, nice, it's solved, you don't have to do any work. But Little gives a lot of detail, even down to the last meal that they ate. And it matches with what investigators found. So then when he says he killed someone, he kills them. And he also like calls the victims his. I'll be like, yeah, that's mine. Yeah, that's mine. That's mine. And he gets offended when there's ones that aren't
even
him.
in their death, like, you still think you have ownership over them. It's crazy.
It just reminded me of when, what's his name, was eating people to say, oh yeah, they're mine, they'll be with me forever. Dahmer.
Oh God, Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh God.
Wild, honestly. So Ben is out here trying to understand the mind of a killer, which is impossible if you yourself are not a killer. But we move. And we're thankful for the documentary. So we hear on the tape that Little became attracted to women's throats when he was in school. He said that his teacher...
This is weird...
He's just so fucking like, what can you do as a woman? You can't do anything. Anything you do can be taken...
But then he said he was 4 or 5 years old.
But was he? Because he said that he would get hard when she would rub her neck.
And that's why I was surprised, because you don't get an erection at 4 or 5 years old.
Maybe he did. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, because I was thinking, maybe he was in high school then, because, you know, puberty.
Yeah. He said 4 or 5.
Yeah. And it wouldn't even make sense if he said, like, grade 4 or 5, because he would still be too young.
Yeah, maybe,
But he would still be too young.
Yeah, that's true. Chile, he's probably, like, he's probably misremembering.
But all we can remember are women's throats. Anyway,
Fam.
He just said he'd imagined strangling women until he was 30, and then when he was 30, he decided to do it. Some people, they're 30, you know, they start a business, they're 30, they buy a house, they're 30, they have a kid.
They get married,
30 and started killing.
He's like, now I'm going to really choke you.
So we're coming to the end of the documentary now, and we actually meet a survivor. Her name is Laurie, and she was working as a sex worker, walking down the street when he abducted her, right? So she's like, you know, survival mode. She talks to him normally, trying to, like, you know, keep things calm and stuff. And then he...
Lighten the mood,
you know, should I rap? Lighten the moods. He pulls her into the back seat and ties her up. And she's kind of going along with it, trying to act like cool. She's into the whole rough sex thing. But then he puts his hands on her throat, like with his thumbs down into her throat, and tells her to swallow. Is it swallow? Because I always say this word really af.
Swallow.
It's swallow.
Swallow is the non-af word.
Swallow is okay. Swallow is
Nigerian.
Thanks.
Don't worry, I do it as well.
I literally, every time it comes to that word, I have to pause, because I'm like, is it swallow?
No, the other one I do is like, it's oven, but I say oven. I say oven.
I have a friend that says oven. Yeah.
And now I really hope to God, everybody. So our microwave broke, and we've been saying microwave. Like, even my mum. And like she said it the other day. Yeah, she said it. And I was like, Mum, where did she hear that joke? She said, don't mind that stupid woman, that one with black hair. Why did she even say microwave? I said, I was listening just as much as you were. I don't know why.
Has she ever explained it?
I don't know why she said that.
Has she ever explained why she said that?
No, she hasn't. She hasn't. I think maybe it's like a posh way they say things that we just aren't aware of.
But it's not like it's another language. Like, it's very much English, just mispronounced. Is that how they say it in French or something? It's not, is it?
I don't know, but she.
So really unprofessional. And the thing is, she's not a comedian. She's not a comedian. Like, she literally is a serious.
A serious chef.
It's a serious chef.
But she's very... I mean, this isn't comedy, but she's very sexual in her nature. Because, you know that Munya, the things he does, they're very accurate. Like, Nigella is a very sexual, like, chef.
She's like Patricia Steer.
Then you drizzle the chocolate over the spot. Oh, it's so soft and moist. And I'm like, wait, is this my dad wrote a porno or is this a cooking
Oh my
show?
God, it's May.
I know.
That came
It's
quickly.
almost time. I know. Remember we were complaining about how long
Yeah,
it was?
I
I think
actually
we were
was
in
like
the car
the other day.
together or something.
No,
and
it
I
was on the
just
podcast.
thinking, no, I was in the car listening and thinking about, okay, never, I'm like, ignore.
I
Let's
think
just
I'm
go
going
back to
to
what
not
we're
listen
doing.
to it until like July, just so I can binge it, because I'm not down to
I need
wait
to
every...
re-listen. Yeah, and I also need to re-listen to the last season.
That's the
Because
last
the last
season.
thing I remember was Belinda being like dragged into a hot air balloon and then her tattoo.
No, I don't remember. I actually don't remember what happened. Oh, my memory is so shit.
Yeah,
but it's
I
great
need to
for things like
listen
this,
to the
because it means
last
I can
one.
like...
So,
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So where are we? Laurie, right. So he swallowed. That's where we were. Swallow, right, that's right. So he puts his hands on her throat and tells her to swallow because he likes feeling, her swallow while he's got his hands around her throat, which is wild.
Weird.
So she passes out. She gets pushed out the car because he thinks she's dead, and so she plays dead. And she says, this is really sad, she says, she felt like a whore and a slut and like she deserved it. And this is why victim blaming really, really pisses me off, because the victims are already blaming themselves. Like, trust and believe.
Yeah.
They don't need you to come and blame them on top of things. Do you know what I mean?
At all.
It's really sad. She goes to the police. She feels ignored, and then she tries, and then Samuel Little tries the same thing again a month later. To another sex worker, and the police catch him in the act and arrest him. This is in 1984. So he escapes an attempted murder charge and gets convicted of assault and false imprisonment because they didn't believe when Laurie said that he had tried to kill her. Why?
Yeah.
Because she was a sex worker, and sex workers are not humans in their opinion. They deserve what they get. So he gets 4 years in jail for this, which is better than the 3 months, but he only serves 2.5 years. And what does he do when he comes out? He continues killing.
Kidding thereby.
Yeah, now we're with Ben, and he gives this impassioned speech about victim blaming, which I completely agreed with, but could not be bothered to write down. And the documentary ends with on-screen text saying that the police are still investigating his confessions, and if confirmed, he would be the deadliest serial killer in American history. And it's like, okay, so what's the prize for that then? This one that you're coming to chat shit.
They still won't talk about him. They'll still only talk about the Bundys and stuff of this world. But
Yeah, because he's black, so I'm glad that didn't work out for him. Either way, I'm glad this is over. Men are trash, except for Ben in this case. I think Ben did a really good job with this documentary.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he really,
I
really
was
did.
impressed.
In the beginning, I was kind of like, I don't know how this is going to go, but I really did enjoy it, and I think he did a good job. I think he...
No, I've
interviewed
watched the Ben
thoroughly.
documentary before.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I can't remember
he's
what
a
it
key.
was, but I've watched the Ben one before, so I knew what to expect. But I think he did good.
He did really well.
Yeah, and I feel like I learned about the case. I mean, there was nothing I watched that I didn't already know, but I feel like if you had never heard about him, it was a good documentary to
Decent.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was good. It was good. And I like the wider themes that it discussed as well.
Touched on, yeah.
Exactly. So
what we're doing next?
I was just going to say, we are doing a documentary. Amazon Prime, actually. I don't think we've done an Amazon Prime documentary before. We're spreading our wings, we're flying. It's called Little White Lie. And it's about a woman who thought she was white, but grows up to discover that she's not. Which is the opposite of Rachel Dolezal, which feels like a very full circle moment going on.
Oh, you want to be a nigger? Have you seen that? Azalea Banks.
No.
I don't know who she was talking to, but she's like, oh, you want to be a nigger?
Who's saying it?
Azalea Banks.
Oh, yeah. Is she in the kitchen?
I think so. She's always in the kitchen cooking a
yeah,
cat.
That's true. Cooking chickens
Literally.
or whatever.
But guys,
guys,
thank you
yeah.
for rocking with us. Where can the people then find you?
They can find us, Two Girls One Doc, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Oh, there's underscore, I think, on the TikTok one.
Yeah.
They can find me on Instagram and Twitter at BD on Eyewear, and also bdoneyewear.com. And they can find you
On Twitter and Instagram at 4ends2_, where I've been blocked by or muted by BD.
just muted.
You can also find me on my other podcast called Character Replay.
So I'm going to play the trailer for you guys now for Little White Lies.
Thanks. Yeah.
And we will see you next week.
You're rocking with the best.
Ew.
Bye. Okay. Bye.
And the weather, I mean, I think it's going to hold off, but...
Do you want to get started? People are going to be coming in.
Okay, cool.
At least.
For a long time, I didn't want to get married.
No way.
I felt like I couldn't create a new family until I came to terms with what had happened to my own. I come from a long line of New York Jews. I'm the great-granddaughter of Eastern European immigrants who brought their culture and traditions to Brooklyn. The daughter of a nice Jewish girl and a nice Jewish boy. I grew up in a world with synagogue, Hebrew school, bar mitzvahs. My family knew who they were, and they defined who I was. So it never occurred to me that I was passing. I wasn't pretending to be something I wasn't. I actually grew up believing I was white.